of the student population, and we do have a very diverse campus, and I acknowledge that, and I think that we all have a different voice. We all have something different to give and to share with others, and my main goal would be to be that voice of all students. Thank you.
Thank you. Antonio, what is your personal definition of ethical decision making?
I think that ethical decision making, it's making a decision based on what you believe, based on your vision, and based on your goals, while taking into consideration everybody else's point of view, everybody else's beliefs, and respecting those as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Jake, how would you define the role of ASG VP, and what specific tasks would you be responsible for?
I think I would define the role of vice president as sort of like assistant coach to the head coach. Like if anyone's played on a sports team, you've got the head coach who's really sort of overseeing the entire operation. But then the role of the assistant coaches is sort of to be there to help where they're needed and help certain issues that may not be addressed as fully as the president would like them to be due to time constraints or other constraints, and just be there to support the entire ASG team as a whole. So I think we're definitely a strong candidacy and a strong team, and we work together really well, and our ideas mesh very well. So as far as my specific task, it'll just be basically supporting our overall campaign in general. So thank you.
Sadaf, what do you see as the #1 problem facing MHCC next year?
One of the main things, we went to the Student Senate meeting last week, and one of the main things they talked about was getting more students to come in, and that with the increase of our tuition and everything, we are losing a lot of students, and by the rate that we're losing so many students, if we keep that rate up and if we keep increasing tuition and decreasing students, there won't be MHCC down the road. So we want to get our word out and have students more coming into our school, getting activities into the high schools where students are more informed into our more informed into coming into Mount Hood instead of looking into other community colleges, and just having programs within high schools so they can actually be informed and come and decide whether this is for them. Thank you.
Garrett, what will you do to ensure the implementation and growth of the Diversity Resource Center?
Well, to be completely honest myself, I don't know a whole lot about it. And I think that in itself lies an issue, is that, I'm running for this position, and just last week, I think, is the first time that I even heard about the Diversity Resource Center. And I think that's a problem. We should know more about it, and people, as a campus as a whole, should have more of a understanding of that and what else is going on in general. So I can't 100% answer the question, but I'd love to know more about it so I could. Thank you.
Thank you. Marcelino, how will you advocate for more grants for students and higher education?
So last year, we went down to Salem to lobby for tuition equity, and that was a great experience. It was my first time lobbying as well. I think the main way to secure more funding is through lobbying our legislators down in Salem. I think that has a huge impact on them. Mount Hood is recognized down in Salem. We have our director of state and federal affairs. He sets up meetings with these legislators, and I think that's very crucial to not only securing funding, but also to making Mhcc recognized at a state level. And so I would say lobbying, lobbying, lobbying.
Thank you. Antonio, what would be your main goal if elected the VP?
As I mentioned before, I believe that one of the biggest issues, if not the biggest issue we have here, is apathy. My main goal as a VP, if elected, would be to find ways to work on reducing the level of apathy that we have here on campus. And I think everything else just falls along with that: communication, team building, and stuff like that. Thank you.
Thank you. Jake, what is your personal definition of ethical decision making?
I think it would be to make decisions that are good for the entire campus and not just something that would be beneficial to maybe a certain group that would be lobbying for something, or even the associated student government themselves. So I would take into consideration very carefully the decisions that we made to make sure that they were indeed the best use of our resources for the entire student body in general. So, yep, thanks.
Sadat, how would you define the role of ASG Vice President, and what specific tasks would you be responsible for?
One of the main thing I think VP has to do is keep the president in line. You have to let them know this is what you stand for and this is who you're working for, so they know that they don't go off-road and focus on the goals that we are focusing, so we can provide more information and have more opportunities for the students on campus and be more informed. And one of the main excuse me. One of the what was the second part again?
What specific tasks would you be responsible for?
Like one of the candidates has said that we would have to sit in on student senate meetings and run the meetings, and with that you have to be a leader within that and have to do that.
All right, Garrett, what do you see as the #1 problem facing MHCC next year?
Everyone's talked a little bit about communication so far and getting programs and activities out there so the students will know about it. And this kind of ties in with that. I think that next year programs, will say, if you're going to take the theater department, for example, because I'm involved in that, is going to be even smaller. Right now, there's a group of probably 8 or 10 actors that are really involved in everything, which the year before it was even more than that. The year before it was even more than that. And I think that has to do with how people view the community college. And it's not really a full-fledged university or a school. They just come here to take some classes so they can move on to somewhere else where they feel like that's where it's important. But this college is just as important as any other college that you're going to be going to. And we want people to be involved and do everything they can here while they're here. Thank you.
Thank you. Natalia, what will you do to ensure the implementation and growth of the Diversity Resource Center?
For me, a lot of revolves around getting the information out, getting people know that the Resource Center is there available, just like our other resources that we have here on campus. People know about it, they can actually go to it, they can enjoy it, they can better take advantage of all these programs that we have, and especially with doing something new like this,